In the ancient city of Makkah, nestled among rugged, barren mountains and steeped in centuries-old traditions, a child was born under truly extraordinary circumstances. The year was 570 CE, a time that would forever be remembered in history as the Year of the Elephant. That year, Abraha, the Christian ruler of Yemen, marched toward Makkah with a large army and war elephants, intending to destroy the Kaaba and divert the annual pilgrimage away from the sacred house. However, according to historical accounts, his army was miraculously defeated by flocks of birds that pelted them with stones of baked clay. This divine protection of the Kaaba became a landmark event. Remarkably, in that very same blessed year, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. His arrival marked the beginning of a profound transformation that would eventually change the course of human history, morality, and spirituality.
From the moment of his birth, there were clear signs that this was no ordinary child. He belonged to the noble Quraysh tribe, specifically the respected family of Banu Hashim. His lineage was pure and honorable, tracing back to the Prophet Ismail, peace be upon him, and ultimately to the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, the builders of the Kaaba. Yet, despite this noble background, his life began with deep personal hardship. His father, Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib, a young and gentle man, had passed away while on a trading journey to Syria, several months before the birth of his son. Thus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, entered this world as an orphan, a reality that would profoundly shape his character, empathy, and reliance on Allah from a very young age.
His mother, Amina bint Wahb, a woman known for her nobility, beauty, and purity of character, cared for him with immense love and tenderness. During her pregnancy, she experienced unusual peace and light. Historical narrations mention that she saw visions and felt a special radiance. When the child was born, she felt a unique serenity, as though she understood instinctively that her son was destined for a great purpose. She named him Muhammad, but it was his grandfather who formally gave him this name. Soon after birth, his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took a central role in his life. Abdul Muttalib was not only the respected chief of the Banu Hashim clan, but also a prominent leader among the Quraysh. He held the important responsibilities of providing water and food to the pilgrims visiting the Kaaba. Despite his many duties and adult sons, his affection for his orphaned grandson was exceptional and deeply personal. When the child was presented to him, Abdul Muttalib felt an immediate and profound connection. After consulting others and reflecting, he chose the name Muhammad, meaning the one who is praised. At that time, this name was rare, and many people were surprised by the choice. Yet, it proved prophetic, as millions upon millions would send blessings and praise upon this name throughout the centuries. Following the noble Arab tradition of the time, which aimed to strengthen children physically and linguistically, the young Muhammad, peace be upon him, was sent to live in the pure desert environment with a Bedouin foster family. He was entrusted to a woman named Halima Saadia from the tribe of Banu Saad bin Bakr. Halima's family was going through a difficult period of drought and poverty. Their camels and goats were producing very little milk, and they were struggling to survive. However, the moment Halima took the infant Muhammad, peace be upon him, into her care, the situation began to change remarkably. Her animals suddenly started giving abundant milk. The barren land around their tent seemed to revive, and prosperity gradually returned to the household. Halima and her husband noticed these blessings immediately and felt that this child carried special divine grace, barakah. Halima's love for the child grew stronger with every passing day. She later narrated many beautiful memories of how peaceful and contented the baby was compared to other children. As Muhammad, peace be upon him, grew up in the open desert, his personality began to shine distinctly. While other children were noisy, restless, and often engaged in rough play or quarrels, He remained calm, gentle, and thoughtful beyond his years. He showed remarkable manners, honesty, and a natural sense of justice. The desert life taught him patience, observation of nature, and deep reflection, qualities that would later prove essential in his prophethood.
One of the most famous and remarkable events of his early childhood occurred during this period in the desert. It is known as the Incident of the Cleansing of the Heart, or Shaq al-Sadr. According to authentic narrations, while Muhammad, peace be upon him, was playing with other children, 2 angels descended. They gently laid him down, opened his chest, removed a small dark portion from his heart, washed the heart with pure snow or water from a golden vessel, and then sealed his chest again. This event symbolized the purification of his heart, preparing it for the heavy responsibility of divine revelation that would come later. When Halima and her family heard about this incident, they became extremely worried and fearful for the child's safety. Feeling that some extraordinary power was at work, Halima decided it was best to return the young boy to his mother in Makkah earlier than planned. Back in Makkah, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was reunited with his mother, Amina. For a short but precious period, mother and son enjoyed emotional warmth and stability. Amina showered him with love and care. However, this happiness was destined to be brief. When Muhammad, peace be upon him, was around 6 years old, Amina decided to take him on a journey to Yathrib, which would later be called Medina. The purpose was twofold: to visit her relatives from the Banu Najjar tribe and to visit the grave of her late husband, Abdullah. The journey held deep emotional significance for both. On the return journey to Makkah, tragedy struck. Amina fell seriously ill at a place called Abwa, located between Makkah and Medina. She passed away there and was buried at that very spot. At just 6 years of age, Muhammad, peace be upon him, lost his mother and became a complete orphan, without father or mother. This was one of the most painful moments of his early life. He was brought back to Makkah by Ayman, a loyal servant and nurse who had looked after him since birth and who continued to show him motherly affection throughout his life.
Upon returning to Makkah, his grandfather Abdul Muttalib once again took full responsibility for him. The elderly chief showed the boy exceptional love and respect. He would often seat young Muhammad beside him in important tribal gatherings, an honor not even given to his own sons. Abdul Muttalib seemed to sense the special destiny of his grandson and protected him with great care. Sadly, this period of comfort and grandfatherly love was also short-lived. When Muhammad, peace be upon him, was about 8 years old, Abdul Muttalib passed away. For the 3rd time in his young life, the Prophet, peace be upon him, experienced the loss of a primary caregiver and protector. After his grandfather's death, the responsibility of raising him fell upon his uncle, Abu Talib. Abu Talib was a man of honor and dignity, but was not financially well off. Despite his own large family and limited resources, he accepted the responsibility wholeheartedly and treated his nephew with genuine affection and care, almost like his own son. Under Abu Talib's guardianship, Muhammad, peace be upon him, began to learn the realities of life. He started working by herding sheep and goats for the people of Makkah. This humble occupation, though simple, played a significant role in shaping his character. It taught him patience, humility, responsibility, and the value of hard work. The quiet desert surroundings also allowed him time for deep thought and reflection. Even as a young boy and teenager, Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood out among his peers and the people of Mecca. He was known for his exceptional honesty, trustworthiness, and moral integrity. He never lied, never participated in the common vices of society, such as drinking, gambling, or idol worship, and always stayed away from fights and foolish behavior. People began calling him Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and Al-Sadiq, the truthful, long before he received prophethood.
His reputation for fairness was so high that even the elders of Quraysh trusted him to resolve their disputes.